It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, sexuational. This is what we call the Dynasty Podcast. Now it is time. Fucking right, it's time. So grab your balls and let's go. Coach's interview. Here we fucking go.
Alright, hello everyone. This is Commissioner Scooper, and this is a special impromptu Dynasty podcast, of course, brought to us by the good folks over at Peril Auto. So, though some consider it weak, the South Riverdale division is in the midst of a goddamn barn burner. With only 2 games left, 4 teams are technically still alive, and 2 of those teams will be squaring off against each other here in this upcoming week number 13. Both at 7-6, Brutal Deluxe and Yellow Peril. And I'm pleased to be joined on the Peril Auto Coaches Guest Hotline with both Coach Brandon McDowell of Brutal Deluxe and Coach Jaeyoung Kim of Yellow Peril. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. How are you today?
Good, thanks. Good to be here.
Excellent. So let's, I guess, start with the current division leader, Coach Will DeYoung's Rockdalian Senators. They sit 1 game ahead of both you. They're at 8-5, and he has 67 less points than Brutal and 72 points more than Peril. We all know that the points is the tiebreaker, so if Senators defeat Soulglow this week, then the loser of your game is officially eliminated from the playoffs. So some high stakes, obviously. What do you guys think the chances are of Soulglow playing the spoiler and knocking off the Senators? Let's ask you, Jaeyoung, first.
Oh man, I mean, let's all face it. With Brian's team, I don't think anyone wants to rely on Brian's team to beat anyone else. True story, my friend. True story.
Yeah, Brian's had a little bit of a rough season. Not a terrible season, but certainly, kind of mediocre. And Will is definitely the favorite going in, but you never know what could happen. Certainly seen upsets occur, and I'm sure you guys are both going to be pulling for Brian. So let's get to your game. Do either of you know how you fare against each other in the 4 previous games you guys have played against each other?
No, I don't. I haven't looked at it. I've just been looking at this week.
I have a sense that Brandon has been crushing me in the past.
That's actually not correct, my friend. Jaeyoung, actually, you have a 3-1 all-time record against Brutal. So
really,
you do. So, Brandon, obviously, not a lot of games played against each other, but Jaeyoung seems to kind of, beaten you more times than you've beaten him, and he beat you back in week 2 of this season as well when Peril, you guys won 87-81. Although that was the game Jamal Charles got hurt and he put up 0 points. So with that said, Jamal Charles is obviously the 6th best running back in fantasy, and he's one of your key contributors, Brandon. He's going up against a pretty tough Arizona defense and the CBS robots, who eventually are going to collaborate and destroy us all at some point in the future. They project him to score 16 points. Brandon, would you be happy if Charles gets you 16 points, or do you expect more from him? What are you thinking from him?
I mean, honestly, all I'm looking for this week is a closer game than last week's beating, but I would take 16 points from him against Arizona D. But it all comes down to touchdowns, so we'll see what happens.
Jaeyoung, what about you? Do you think the CBS bots are, fair at that 16 points? And also, 2-part question, would you be happy if he puts up, say, 15 or less?
Yeah, I mean, the caliber of player that Jamal is, if he puts on less than 15, I'll be pretty excited. I think 16 is exactly where I expect him to be, 100 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I referenced the CBS Robots, and they project this matchup here against you guys to be extremely even. I'm looking at the projections here now, and as of right now, Brutal has got a 2-point lead, 122 to 120. Obviously, we all know that these projections are very rarely ever even close, but still kind of, interesting to look at. Jae Young, tell us a little bit about your starting lineup decisions that you have here for this upcoming big game. Unfortunately, it looks like your third-round pick, Andre Ellington, is going to be out. I know Tony Romo's been playing like a little sissy little bitch lately, and Martavis Bryant, who I think you have currently in your flex, has really come down to earth. Tell us a little bit about your thought process with your starting lineup.
Oh, everything about my team is very confusing right now. I don't know what's up and what's down. I traded for Romo only to have him put up, 3 points last week. So clearly I might as well just be flipping coins here. So Ellington being really fucks up what I'm going to do with my flex and my starting running back 2 position. So whether I start Trey Mason against Washington or Crowell, I have no idea. It's honestly all going to be a game time decision.
Yeah, and as of right now, it looks like you have Travis Kelce, the Chiefs tight end, in at tight end over Greg Olsen, who's had a really good season, although he's kind of, again, tailored off lately. Kelce is he seems to be good, but just on that Chiefs offense, he doesn't get a lot of opportunities, and I know Fasano's been vulturing a lot of those touchdowns. So is that also a game-time decision, or have you already decided on Kelce?
This is actually one of the few decisions I feel like I've set in stone. It's bad enough that I have to have Calvin Benjamin in there as well, but basically my team is as limited as Cam Newton makes it. And the fact that someone dropped Cam Newton earlier this week is not surprising. Right. And so I think I'll leave Benjamin in, and I'll probably leave Olsen out after the few single-digit games he's put up the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I get a great question for you guys. Who is having the better season, Cam Newton or Alex Smith?
It's good. That is a good question. I would actually guess Cam Newton, not by much though. Do you know the answer?
I don't. I'm throwing it out there, but it's a good one to ponder, right?
Yeah, I'll look it up while I ask you the next question, Brandon. So you got Julius Thomas, who's been hurt lately. You picked up Jordan Reed, I think. Now, I think it was a free agent pickup versus a waiver wire pickup. But it was a nice pickup, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was actually going to probably pick him up myself. I had him, and I dropped him because he sucked, and then he got hurt. And then he came out of nowhere and put up like 9 catches, 100 yards or whatever last week. So that was a nice little pickup. I know that, you've been stretching it with like the likes of Owen Daniels at tight end while Thomas has been hurt. Let me ask you this. If Julius Thomas is activated this week, I think as of right now it's questionable. If he's activated, I assume, would you play Julius Thomas over Jordan Reed, or would you consider playing 2 tight ends, one at your flex, and maybe sitting a guy like Steve Smith?
I don't know. Yeah, I kind of knew this question was coming because it's kind of the worst scenario for me. I like the like anyone else, the easy decisions. But if Thomas were to come back and the news was real positive, I might plug him in over Reed, because I believe Reed is still splitting time with what's that other guy's name, Niles. Niles
Paul. Yep.
Who had a real good start to the season. I had him on my scout team for a while, and then he had some injury kind of early in the season that set him back. But I think you'd have to go with a guy like Thomas, because if he is active, who he's got throwing the ball to him. So, he's been kind of boom or bust for me, even after I picked him up from Ben. So
right.
It's a good question. It would be a game time decision, and I'd probably blow it. But
well, it looks like we're going to have a couple of game time decisions between both of your starting lineups. I look at the rest of your team, Brandon, I don't see many other tough decisions. You got Keenan Allen, Anquan Bolden, Emmanuel Sanders at receiver. You get Denard Robinson, obviously, and Jamal there at running back. And as of right now, Steve Smith in your flex. Shane Vereen playing against San Diego. Who the hell knows what's going on with the Patriots running back situation? You got him on your bench. Probably don't blame you. So it's probably really just a matter of whether or not Julius Thomas plays or not. And then if he does, who you'll play at flex, probably between, sounds like Jordan Reed and Steve Smith. By the way, Alex Smith and Cam Newton are both literally tied as of right now with fantasy points, I think at 187. So.
Trick question.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I'm looking at when your guys' players are going to be playing on Sunday or on other days, and it looks like Peril might get off to an early lead because he has Romo, Brandon Marshall, and his kicker Gold going on Thursday night. So we may find out a little bit as to how this matchup's going to go. I guess very soon. And then Brandon, he's got Keenan Allen and Gostkowski going on Sunday night. So that's going to be interesting. Jay Young, how much of a lead do you think you'll need going into the Sunday night game with Keenan Allen and Gostkowski going for Brandon to feel comfortable and confident that you maybe have it in the bag?
Oh, my God. If not by like 40 points, we all know what Gostkowski can do. I think he's the number one kicker. And I think if you look at all the teams that scored like 100 plus, everyone got double digits from their kicker and their defense. I'm pretty confident about that. So it just goes to show, even if your base team is doing well, you still get beaten by someone's kicker dropping like 40 points on you.
Yeah. Brandon, kind of the same question. How much... obviously you're probably hoping that you maybe already have the lead going into Sunday night, and it doesn't matter. But let's just say Jay Young has a lead. I'll throw a point number out there. Let's say 18. Let's say you're down 18 going into Sunday night. How confident will you feel in Keenan Allen and Gostkowski to overcome that 18 points?
I feel pretty good. Allen's kind of struggled middle of the season, and obviously had a big week last week, and you want to go with the hot hand, as they say. The thing that scares me most about Jay Young's team is actually something that you guys both mentioned earlier about Romo and or maybe it was just Jay Young about his bad week this week. But I think if you look back at some of Romo's past games where he's had bad games, he's kind of really rebounded the game after. So that's something I need to kind of watch closely and root against as we go through it.
Yeah, he's going up against the Bears in Chicago Thursday night, and Chicago's defense pretty much blows, but Romo's back is a bit banged up, and I don't know if that statistic is correct. I'm sure it is, Brandon, as far as Romo coming back from a bad game to play a good game. But we'll see. So I guess finally, you guys are in the midst of it here. So I guess I'll leave the mic to you. I'll start with Jay Young. Do you have anything, whether it be good luck and good tribulations to Brandon, or hate messages? Is there anything that you want to say to Brandon at this point, going into this fairly big game here in the one of the final weeks of the season that will likely determine some of your playoff fates?
Right. Well, I guess if there's one piece of advice I'd give to Brandon, it's that, since you can't keep Jamal Charles, which is a decision you have to make after this Sunday night, I really don't know what options you have. Like, I don't know if you really want to keep Peyton Manning for next year, since he's going to be, 38, 39, so, it sucks that you're going to have to start thinking about trades after this weekend.
Brandon, do you retort from this?
Oh, man, I think it doesn't really matter what I do, right? Because I think my first pick that I have next year is maybe in the double digits. I think I'm going to be on that couch for maybe 90% of the draft. So I don't even know. I haven't even thought about it, to be honest.
Brandon,
next year's going to be a blur, hopefully.
You and I have already got dips on the couch because, my first pick isn't until the 10th round. So, Yeah, and it's going to be
I might be right there with you.
It's going to be a long off season, a long draft for me if I don't take home the title this year, and I'm sure that will go for you as well. Anyway, big game this week. We'll all be watching it. I'm sure you guys will be rooting for Soglo as well. So then that way, if you lose, you're not officially eliminated, but. We'll all be watching. Good luck to you guys. And hey, at the count of 3, let's end this thing by at the count of 3, we will all simultaneously at the same time say who this show is brought to us by. 1, 2, 3. Harborough Auto.
We interrupt this broadcast to remind you that you can get all of the latest Dynasty updates by following the Riverdale Gazette on Twitter. The Riverdale Gazette Twitter page. Don't be left behind.